We're continuing on in 23:22. Listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. Buy the truth and do not sell it. Get wisdom, discipline, and understanding. The father of a righteous man has great joy. He who has a wise son delights in him. May your father and mother be glad. May she who gave you birth rejoice. So God put you in a family, and he put over you, Lord willing, wonderful fathers and mothers. And their task is simple: to bring you up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord, to prepare you for life and for your vocation, for your opportunity to become a parent and your opportunity to become an employer and an employee, all these things that you're doing. Your father and your mother are there then, not only to keep track of your bodily wants, but also to train you up in how to be a responsible, loving Christian citizen of your country and a citizen of God's kingdom. And so here it says, listen to them. And when they're old, continue to listen to them and then honor them. Take care of their health, visit them, show them respect that they're due from God, if for no other reason, because God has put them there, and you're thanking God for the gift of them, but really the respect they're due because they took care of you and they trained you. So then it goes on and it says to buy truth and not sell it. It says go to the Bible. This is what you should seek after. This is the thing which has value. So spend some time, spend some of your hard-earned capital to get more of this knowledge, to get more of the things which your parents started teaching you and giving you free. As you get older and now you're in charge of your own education, seek it out, do the effort. Learn from your parents who did this before you. And then it says that if you're righteous, if you're wise, if you are one who is going on the path that leads to Christ, you're showing the love of Christ, then hey, makes me happy, makes the dad happy, makes the mom joyous. As I said earlier in the previous video, that's what we want for our kids, that they are loving, Christian, nice, kind people. And then it says they're going to celebrate your birth. They're going to celebrate and rejoice the fact that you exist. And isn't that what we want when our parents get old, that they can have joy that they had children? That is a great gift, and that's a good thing to give them. So if we follow in this advice, not despising them, listening to their wisdom, seeking after the wisdom of God after we're in control of our own money and time, then in the end, our parents are going to rejoice. Let's move on. 23:26. My son, give me your heart and let your eyes keep to my ways, for a prostitute is a deep pit, and a wayward wife is a narrow well. Like a bandit, she lies in wait and multiplies the unfaithful among men. Okay. We as human beings have a sinful heart which, when it sees sin, it often fills up with it and says, this is a good thing. This is something which is good to eat. In this case, it's speaking of a prostitute, saying, you see a wanton woman, she seems eager, and the male says, good to eat, good to come together with this wanton woman. Or then you take such a woman to be your wife, and now you have a narrow well, a well which you can't really fit the bucket down. If you did, it doesn't have much water in it. It runs out very quickly. So a well which doesn't spring forth with life, and which makes your life very hard. When we seek after sin, when we seek after the things that our eyes grow big and say, ooh, that would be good, but they go against the things which God says are good, which God says about them that they are evil, then our life is, as it says here, it's like a pit. We get trapped in those things. They drag us down into death. And they make our lives and others unpleasant, and they certainly lead to eternal damnation. And so these wanton things, these desires of the world that fill our eyes with what the earth says is good, but God says is bad. It says it's like a bandit. So lots of imagery here. It lays in wait and just keeps grabbing more and more people into it. And we see this, say, with pornography in our country, as it just seems to blossom and bloom, and people are entrapped in it, and they get into these weird and strange things, and it gets more bizarre and more horrible, seemingly with each passing day, and more available with each passing day. So what's it telling us? It's saying, don't put your eyes there. Sometimes these things are in front of you. Well, then turn away and look to what is good. Look back to the Lord. The wanton woman can wave all she wants, but if you stay away, you're not going to her. And if you guard yourself from focusing on her and have yourself focus on your beloved wife, your wonderful Savior, that'll keep you from the pit. Okay? Let's move on to 29. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has strife? Who has complaint? Who has needless bruises? Who has bloodshot eyes? And then we come to the passage that we've done before, because I turned 2 pages when I should have turned 1. Those who linger over wine. And it goes on and it talks about how wine entraps. It's a beautiful passage. But here we'll talk a little bit about 29. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has strife? Well, if you're drunk, you have these things. If you take and it's not just alcohol, though it certainly speaks directly here about alcohol. But if you go to the pleasures of life and you fill beyond where you're supposed to, and they become the thing which entraps you, which becomes the center of your life, then you're going to have the things mentioned, you're going to be the things mentioned in 29. You're going to be woeful, sorrowful, you're going to have fights, strife, you're going to complain all the time, and then needless bruises and bloodshot eyes. It's going to wear you out. It's going to take away your health. It's going to take away your friends and family. It's going to cause problems. God sets priorities. And he says the priority first is himself. Priority second is your spouse. Third is your children. Fourth is your direct family. Fifth is your indirect family. Then your neighbors. Then your country. Then the whole of the world and all the people in the world, because they are your neighbors, right? He sets these priorities. And then there comes your vocation, your employment, your employer, the things which you do to earn money and to be able to keep this body in life, and clothing and food and shelter. These things are essential, and these things get prioritized. But when you prioritize getting drunk, when you prioritize going out and partying, when you prioritize movies, when you prioritize cars, when you prioritize clothes, when you prioritize money, these things step into the place of God, and the result is a woeful life full of strife, weary eyes, lowered health. And this isn't just a description physically, but certainly mostly a description spiritually. Let's stop there, and then we'll go with our next. We're going to start at chapter 24 next video.